Hi and welcome. I am here in Kauai with this amazing guy. I'm here with Dan McDonald. You might know him as the Life Regenerator on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He's all over the place. And on my trip, I'm Hilde Larsen. I'm a health and detox specialist. I'm a mental and emotional mindset coach. I'm author of 3 books, but most of all, I'm a life enthusiast. So, hi Dan, and thank you.
Life enthusiast, I can dig that.
Thank you for letting me meet up with you. I wanted to talk to you because you have been one of my mentors that you might not even know about. When I was really sick, for you that have been following me, you know how sick I've been. Diagnosed with severe rheumatoid arthritis, bedridden for years, couldn't even move, couldn't open my jaw, couldn't go anywhere, in terrible pain. When I was searching on how to get better, this amazing guy pops up on YouTube about 11, 12 years ago in front of a silver RV, no shirt, and he was juicing right there. And I looked at this guy and I'm like, what the heck is he doing? He looks like $1 million and he's standing there talking about the simplest things. And I thought, this is calling my heart. And it was. So you were one of the first people that I was looking at when I was searching for health and vitality, what we're all searching for.
Well, this is the first time I heard this, so this is an exciting video, I think. This is real time.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I wanted to, first of all, thank you, of course. And then I've been following you this whole time. And now we're even colleagues, because Dan is also giving consultations. And he's, you know, he has books, he has videos, he has all this amazing content to offer. And I don't know how many, I think you have like 2,000 some videos out on YouTube I saw. I mean, that's
2,500 videos.
That's being of service.
One a day for 8 years, and then I moved here, and then I just kind of...
And that's what I'm talking about.
Then I started to do real healing.
Yeah. And then you started to do real healing.
Yeah, when I stepped out away from the grind, the matrix, and dropped into nature. I was pulled here karmically, of course, because, and that's why I always recommend, keep going, keep cultivating the positive, no matter what your circumstances or environment, because then you'll change your consciousness, and then your consciousness will, you know, then the universal consciousness will, you know, whatever vision you have in your mind, like this, my mind created this paradise for me to come to, you know, wear no shirt, wear no shoes, and to have fruit everywhere. There's a guava tree right there. You got the little dates right here, star fruit over there, oranges, avocados. So it's just everywhere. And so it's just, it was my own consciousness that created a field of energy which attracted me here. And I came here dragging my feet, but once I got here, I just never left. And so everyone can create.
Yeah. So would you say on your path to here, from where I'm talking about, that you've... See, one of my themes is always simplicity. You know, I get drawn to simpler and simpler. And the more we get out of the mind and simplify and look towards nature, everything becomes clear in a non-mental way, in a non-intellectual way, if you're going to talk about that mental, you know, mental and intellect. Do you feel that? Are you drawn to a more simpler lifestyle on many levels?
Would I choose intelligence over the intellect? Any day of the week. Because the intelligence is innate, and the intellect is the external data that's been accumulated. And so when we can get out of the head, like the masters have been telling us, get out of your head and get into the intellect. I mean, into the intelligence. And so
the wisdom and the inner
the
knowledge,
intuition
and
the like I said on a video this morning that I made, was that the clearer that you get, the more that God can teach you directly. But if you're just a muddy pool of junk, you know, then you don't really pick up, and you have to go more from the intellectual facts that have been passed on to you from generation to generation, instead of dumping all that garbage, which is mostly 99% of it is
Crap. I call
fallacious
it crap.
garbage, because some other guy is trying to control your ascent into livelihood and aliveness and transcendence and transformation and illumination, because once you get illuminated and free, then they can no longer control you, not even by taking your life, because you know who and what you are as an eternal being.
Yeah. So, and what do you think? See, a lot of people watching here, they are interested in raw food, they're interested in a fruity diet, living off the land more and more, getting away from the processed food, from everything that's been obstructing your amazing temple. How have you felt in your own life that your diet and the way that you chose to walk more towards nature and the raw living foods, how has that impacted your whole, journey of spirituality or connection back to the source and that innate wisdom that it's become easier to tap into?
I don't think I would be so connected to the silent and divine intelligence if I didn't continue to eat these dirty foods with the microbes, the enzymes, the sunlight, the hydrogen, the oxygen intact, because then that feeds my gut system, and I have this great, clean, purified, diversified rainforest ecosystem of life, supporting lots of different life forms, all in balance, cohesively living together, because the information and the energy is left whole, plain, simple, and it's all fully intact. You need the microorganisms living on the plants. You need the soil microbes for communication in the gut. And when we're eating all the processed food, you lose that communication network in the gut, and then you lose all the production of the serotonin and the dopamine and all of the other neurochemistry and biological chemistry for the hormones and the steroids to produce happiness, health, energy, vitality. And so it's that separation from nature and the dirty food that begins to set you up for inflammation in the brain and confusion, because that is the divine intelligence, but once it's been heated, you ruin the microorganisms that are transmitting energy to your microorganisms, which transmits energy and information to your brain, which keeps you grounded in reality. So the world is full of people who are heavy and yet totally ungrounded in reality. And so all they see is concrete buildings, get money, get fame, get laid, and they have no idea that the most golden treasure, the most thing that is worth more than all the money in the entire world, and even if Satan came and said, let me give you the entire universe, you would have the knowledge and the understanding that to trade your eternal soul for the entire universe would be absolute foolishness. And it starts with an understanding of the laws of nature right here, reality, practicality on earth, the laws of nature which we can see. If we can't follow the laws of nature which we can see with our eyes, how can we follow the one law of God that we cannot see?
Exactly. And I love the perspective that you put into it when you talk about the disconnect, because a lot of people out there, you look at food as something that's going to bring you a specific, like, what can I take for this? What can I take for that? We're used to a quick and easy fix in the form of a pill, or we're used to having a specific symptom that we're going after with a specific remedy. So we're looking for something on the outside to fix the inside. While you're talking about the disconnect versus the connect, meaning everything is perfect and whole in nature, as long as we are a part of that and take it in as a whole, because everything is energy, everything is vibration. And the disconnect from that can be really anything. It could be the crappy food, it could be that you have a job you don't want, it could be that you're in a shitty relationship, it could be anything you created that will reflect your disconnect from that innate knowing. Once you connect with yourself, you are a part of nature, and being a part of that then it will be home. It will be who you are. And it's interesting what you say about the microbes, because we're always also taught to kill everything, to wash everything, to disinfect everything, and to be afraid of nature. We're afraid of getting our hands dirty, so to speak. And we're also taught that there is a class different. Like I said, it's like going after the fame and fortune is a disconnect in the sense that you're looking for something on the outside of you to make you whole and content. And in reality, you're disconnecting more and more from that. So for many, what I see in my practice is going simply back to raw living fruits and vegetables is, when you're doing that, you're awakening a part of that energy in yourself that remembers and that craves more of that. So a lot of people will experience a start of an amazing journey if they change their diet, if they start there, because it will allow your body to start releasing, the old crap and we're mostly full of shit, physically. And then on top of that, we're full of shit emotionally and completely closed off from our braveness because we don't dare shine our light. We're more afraid of shining, I think, than failing, because we're so used to having to dim it to fit in, or it's easy to criticize others when you feel like crap yourself. So we have to remember that people that are going after anyone with anything that isn't love doesn't come from anything innate within them either. It is all the conditioning talking, everything that is not of nature. So being here in Kauai with you, I can only imagine how that will influence your whole being living here. Do you want to talk a little bit about just what you feel that connection does?
Well, my friends, they'll say, I'm not going to go to the ocean today because it's dirty and brown.
Yeah.
And I say, I'm going to the ocean today because it's dirty and brown. Because these hills and the water that rains down and washes all this mud into the rivers and then out to the ocean is just 100% microorganism inoculation. Yeah. So I'll go out and drink the brown water from these clean hills with no animal agriculture, no industry, and it's just pure rainwater flushing all this microbes down. I'll swish it in my mouth and drink it.
Yeah.
And that usually happens before even the sun rises. I'm at the river or the ocean. So I'm immersing myself in nature as much as possible. I come to this little spot to sleep, to make a snack every once in a while, pop off a video, but other than that, I'm outside in the dirt, in the dust, in the mud. And that is where we went wrong, because everyone was like, wouldn't let the kids put the dirt in their mouth, and you actually want to let the kids put their dirt in your mouth. That's what we're finding, is that you don't want to be too clean and too sterile. It always was, and it was this way 200 years ago with the Black Plague, and it's this way with all the other diseases and everything else. It was the stale bread and the rotten conditions and the disconnect from the clean, dirty nature.
It was man taking over. I mean, it was moving out of nature. It was never a problem while in nature.
Anything he touches, he seems to...
We're living in high-rises.
He wants to ruin.
Yeah, we're disconnected just from that.
They ruin their food with fire.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they lose the connection. It's just, and oh, you're a raw food niche market. No, I'm a guy who's just telling you the truth from the bottom of my heart because I've lived it and I can see. And all my friends, they're like, well, I eat a little bit of raw food, but they're not as healthy as me.
Yeah.
And I don't even say anything about anything because hardly anyone can even. I have a couple of friends where we can go all the way into the divine light of God and speak of the silence in words, just so that we can remind each other, and so that reflection is there, because the world has got their priorities, and then the children of the light who want to keep their lamps burning bright, they have to live a different kind of way. And when their priorities are different, they're going to shine that light. They're going to say love and unity and nature and God and truth, and all else is a waste of your time and energy. and they are going to say, poo-poo on you, you're taking away my little trinkets, and I cling to those because that's all I've got, because they haven't been galactivated to that level to understand that the absolute treasure of life, you already are that. It's already inside of you. You don't need to go anywhere, have money, have fame, have big muscles. You don't have to have any of that. You don't even have to have good health, although you can enjoy that presence so much more. And then when that presence is there,
that's a great point.
It serves. And then you want to use your hands to uplift.
There are unhappy everything. There are unhappy successful people in business, famous people, tremendously healthy people, or so it seems. You will always see that unhappiness. So it's always about that disconnect. That's what it's like. You said, you don't even have to have health to feel that. You can be. I always say happiness always comes first, then health, not the other way around. A lot of people, they're looking for it. They're like, when I only get to there, then I'll feel good. Or they're dimming their own light because they don't think the environment deserves their best self. So say if you have a friend or you're living with someone and you're not that happy with them, then you're holding yourself back. You're not going to show them the happy mumbo woman or man without a shirt, dancing to your favorite song, being expressing your authentic self, because you don't think the environment should see that. Because you blame something from the outside of your unhappiness. So I think also it's the lack of expression of authenticity, because in this world that we have created, being authentic is hard. It's not what we're taught to be. We're taught to fit in. We're taught to bend and mend and please and, And most people don't even see the difference between being a pleaser and being of service. It's completely different in energy. When you're pleasing, you're doing it from the mind. It's a mental thing. You're doing it for a return. You think you're investing for a return, or you're doing it to be accepted, which is a return, or to be acknowledged, which is a return. But when you're of service, the God force is simply moving through you. And that's why a lot of people, including Dan, and somewhat myself, are of service even though the return is not, present in the way that people might think. Like you could get a bad rap, or you could get someone, saying bad things, so you're not of service for that reason. You're here to spread a word which you feel comes from your heart and the God force, and it's your purpose.
That's the instant reward system.
Yeah, being of service.
The divine light flowing through you. The reward is right then and there. It's not coming later. It's not a paycheck you get at the end of the week. You're getting paid right now by doing whatever, emptying the trash or cleaning someone or rubbing someone's legs. That's what
giving is receiving means. When you hear giving is receiving, that's what it means. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice for those that live in, say, in a large city? You sit there in Kauai and you're talking about, going into the ocean or living in this. And I see there are a lot of people out there also struggling, to get by in life, and they might have children, and it's very hard to just pick up and move, or, everybody can't come to Kauai, obviously. Do you see how, do you have any good advice on how people can connect more with themselves and live more connected with nature, even though they're living in, in cities?
Yeah. Okay, let me give the impractical advice first.
Okay, let's hear it.
Number 1, start planning now on how the hell you're going to escape that cancerous tumor called a city.
Yeah, there you go.
Now that's me being authentic.
Yeah.
There's just no way with that concrete, no grass, no trees, no birds, sirens, traffic, soot, smog, filth, and congested airways and drywall and plastic. You are going to be that. You are going to be plasticized human being, and you're going to be okay-ishly healthy at best. The more in the cities, the more insane. Now, here's some practical advice, and I'm just pulling this out of the hat. Learn some technologies. There's still access to decent food. But before I even go into any of that, that's even the more mechanical stuff. The number one thing is, you know, for those of you living in a city, is go find a patch of grass and smell it that hasn't been sprayed. And, or drive every single chance you get to go find some leaves, some dirt, flowing water, trees, birds, grass, dirt, earth, and breathe that stuff in. You know, take some terahydrite, get your gut right, and then breathe in as much natural nature microbes as you can, because that's where you inoculate the gut. If you've got the dysbiosis, is you breathe it in through your sinuses and through your mouth into your lungs and gets into your system.
Touch it. Just take your shoes off.
Take your shoes off.
And
take your shirt off.
Hug a tree.
Go touch trees and touch branches and get, you have to, I mean, we now with the microbiome, you know, 10 years ago it was wash everything, oh my God, we're all going to die, there's a bug on the wall over there. Now it's like, we know that the more dirtier you are, the dirtier your food is. Not toxic dirty. There's clean mud and there's toxic mud. And there's
most people buy from a regular grocery store.
Grow your own food.
Exactly.
And none of this is practical for the cities, and that's the thing. I have clients in the cities. They're struggling. Can you do it? Yeah, I was doing okay-ish when I was in the cities, but the main thing is, as human beings these day and age, you have to understand the city as a corral of, you know, animal agriculture and the saturation and the containment of the divine energy. And so when you look at the topographical maps on Google, you see that the green and blue earth and the brown, and then you see these gray, brown, dirty tumors, and those are the cities. And those tumors are obstructing the blood flow, the nerve flow, the lymph flow of the planet. And so any human being living in those cancerous deposits of our bad habits of comfort and gluttony and greed and overconsumption, we're going to be having to pay the karmic price of that, not to mention on the cerebral spinal system, the sirens and the loud noises and the garbage man.
That's huge noise.
Noise pollution, nervous system.
Noise, exactly. Sound.
Yeah. I go every day as much as possible. So, you know, if I lived in a city, I would, every second that I had, I would drive to the nearest thing, and I'd have my other ones that are even further away. Like if I could get to the one that's a real place where there's no one, and there's just a lake, and it's 45 minutes from your house, and you can only do that once a week. Go there, spread the dirt on your arms and underneath your legs, you know, and rub that on your genitals, believe it or not, in your hair, get a little around your ears, just get dirty, breathe, kick up some leaves and breathe all that in, because that's that's the sanity. You are nature. We can't just go 4 generations ago we were on earth and now we're on concrete. And now the food is Swanson
we're
TV
suffering.
dinners.
Look at what we're building. We're building hospitals.
We're dying.
And old people. We're literally dying. We're killing ourselves.
The human species is degenerating at a breakneck speed. We saw this with the Price Pottinger cat experiments when we had the raw cats and the cooked cats, and the raw cats kept going and could produce progeny, and the cooked cats, the diversity of the gut and the teeth and the skin.
So why do we, why do you think we say don't feed the animals, don't feed the wild animals? Like I see a lot of hen running around here, you know, like little hay-hays on Hawaii. And you can't feed them. Why? They're going to get as sick as you are. You know, they're going to get...
Not the human food anyways.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
I eat the same thing as them.
Yeah, exactly.
The
because
avocado
it's in
falls
the
and they
it's in
eat
nature.
that.
So we can't, what they say don't feed them is don't feed them like bread or anything processed that most people would feed. You know, even their animals. The animals are getting the same diseases as we are. The ones that are household animals.
And the zoo animals.
Exactly. Anyone in our care.
The carnivores get sick from cooked meat.
Yeah.
The omnivores get sick from the cooked foods.
Exactly.
And the cooked fruit for the other frugivorous animals and the herbivores.
But the good news is this, and I mean there is good news. Yeah, there is good news. You can always do better from where you're at. Always. I mean, you never have to lose. when you just change a little thing in your life, as long as you're doing better, you're feeding your soul with new energy and, inspired enthusiasm to start regenerating. And that's why I think it's so important, like I said, you take off your shoes, you hold on a tree, you get the dirt on, you smell it, you go out in nature, and don't get discouraged just because you can't see that you can change all this. You can always change something. And you can always change your mindset. You can always change your outlook. And if you start there even by finding stillness, in the midst of everything, instead of bombarding yourself with music that's not even in sync with your organism, or pushing yourself into areas of where there's a lot of machinery making noise that you can even feel it in your body if you listen, when it's real dissonance, that you can feel that is disturbing to your innate being. Just being in nature and listening to the birds, they're healing, literally healing. Their songs are healing to our energy. It's raising your vibration in the sense that it's changing your tune to, well, I don't like the word raising because that makes something means it's lower, or and we're over and beyond and below, and we're not changing it to become closer to nature. That's harmonized
with your
in sync with
cerebral
nature.
spinal system. Basically, I was at the river and I realized the sirens are 50 years old, and the sound of the river is older than the hills itself. And so I knew that my nervous system recognized that river, because my friend and I, we just laid there and took a nap for about 2 hours on this big giant rock, and just the water, and we were just in the zone, and so then I had that revelation. So I didn't mean to say there's no hope, but if you do decide to read a book like I did and completely transform your life and go from standard American everything, party animal, alcoholic, drug addicted, womanizing, homeless bum.
We could have met back then. We would have been a great party.
Yeah, and well, then I read one book and it changed it all. And so, I mean, it's pretty karmic to have that happen. But there is hope. But what I'm saying is that if you do begin to change your life, you will reactivate. So like when I started eating raw foods, it just brought me to this point. And so you want to start eating more natural foods, but the restaurant food, the grocery store food, I mean, you have to go to farmers markets. You've got to grow your own. You've got to get out of the city and go find a farmer and get a box of food so you can at least have some earth consciousness, because people go for years or decades even with only eating sterile foods. And so that's why the cancer and the confusion. But there are a lot of things that you can do in a practical sense. One thing is to get a water distiller, and distill your own water. Another thing is, eat as many fresh fruits and vegetables as you possibly can. The other thing that is the transcendent consciousness is to just be aware of your eternal nature, that this body is just a temporary thing. And the main issue with our health these days is the stress. And that is because it's a chronic condition. And so if you can begin the process through meditation, contemplation, surrender, just finding peace with the chaos. The matrix is kind of set up to make it extremely and excruciatingly difficult. So that's why I just emphasize kind of the reality of it, is that I do have clients and stuff, and they do have kids, and they cannot move, and I give them a lot of practical advice, some supplementation, meditation, but you will become the environment that you live in. And so when you're in New York, it's every breath you take, you can't really purify your own blood. So getting healthy in a place where you don't have fresh air, but there are so many things that you can do, and I want to emphasize that. I see myself, because I've thought about it more and more, and the more information I've gathered, basically I've summed up everything that all of my clients and all of us and all my friends are going through, and that is simply our disconnection from nature. And we don't even know what that is.
What I see is everything starts with a choice, right? Every day, everything is a choice. You choose. You choose what to think. You choose your actions. You choose how to respond or react or how you want to live your life. And I'm thinking wherever you are right now, you always have the choice to put up the intent to be the best version of you, to do the best that you can do with where you're at. And what I think what would happen for most people, and even for me, so look at me, I'm so sick that nobody believes I can even get better. I'm in so much pain, life is hell, I want to die, I want to take my own life, I can't do this anymore. I'm inside a house on the second floor, and I hardly left that place for about 2 years. I'm still here, but just starting with doing my best, which was affirmations, which was changing what I was drinking. I started with the water, and I went through the whole water thing, from going to bottled. We have tap in Norway. I mean, they're telling us there it's great water. It's crap water. I went through all the alkaline water machines and all of that, and I ended up with distilling my own water. I educated myself to find the best solution for me where I was at. Then everything starts to roll. So you will see things more clearly, and opportunities will open, and you will be more brave to actually taking them. Because like you're here in Kauai. You might not have even planned that for 10 years and had a safety net and all that. You come to a point in your life where your bravery, which is kind of an odd word to use in that,
freedom.
But I'm still going to use it. Yeah, you're brave enough to take it. Like, you're brave enough to live it. You could have turned back home just because there would be so many reasons why that would have been more convenient, maybe not for you, but for others, and you thought you had to serve them or, please them. And the more authentic and brave we get with our decisions in life, meaning if you can stick to good food, even though it's hard at times to get at, or even if it's hard to get out of the city in the weekends because you need to get a car or you need to, when you're diligent and consistent and you have put out an intent to do your best, you will be led with so many opportunities that will lead you to where you want to be. So if you need to get out of the city to heal completely, that's what you'll find an opportunity to do. And then when you see it, you need to be brave enough to take it.
According to your intentions. Yeah. Intention and faith.
Yeah, and you need to see it. You need to call it when you see it. Because a lot of people, they look the other way when it comes around because it's too hard. It will take too much. There's so many reasons. Self-sabotage. How much are we self-sabotaging ourselves?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Obviously.
Because obviously, if not, we would always do what's best for us.
Because of the light shining too bright.
Because
you're going to, it is hard for even those even closest to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even worse to really let your light shine, to really be authentic.
Yeah.
But life gets too short, and you have to know that God made you just the way you are.
Perfect.
And you can and should celebrate that.
Yeah, you're perfect. You're all perfect. All amazing. You all have a purpose. You all have, you're all on your own mission or path or whatever you want to call it. And it's even perfect no matter what choice you make. I mean, you can make a shitty choice or do something that's obviously not best for your physical temple or do other things. There's no blame for that. I mean, that's also a choice. You're here incarnated in this, on this earth. You're a light being no matter what you do in this lifetime. But I want everyone to know that there is a potential out there for everyone. What you see today is not what you are, or it doesn't limit what you can do, express, or experience. You can come from almost anywhere and create almost anything. And you'd be surprised of maybe even what they would be if you really got there. Because most of the people, they think it's the next car, it's the babe, it's the, it's the party boat, whatever it is. But if we ask for, true happiness and connect, it will show itself differently than we might expect. And that's where I think bravery comes in, And I think nature will show you that. The more you use nature, the more you'll be shown where happiness is. We confuse it with something else. We confuse it with gratification, like Yeah.
Yeah.
We think it's about happiness. We think it's about being happy.
If you can go and play in nature, you are 100% well on your way. If you can go be a child in nature.
Yeah.
I do it every day.
Yeah.
It's all I do. It's when I'm done with this, that's what I'm going to go do. Goof around, running at the beach, tromping through rivers.
You don't have to wait for anyone. You don't have to wait for your friends to be ready, or your mate to be ready, or your children to be a certain age, or your job to change. You don't have to wait for anything. You can just
You can make everything fun.
Yeah.
Anything fun.
Yeah. Do the dishes and look at that as an amazing task.
You can make anything fun.
Yeah. And the stress. I think that's like a great closing for this video. Just to realize what stress is doing to us, because that's creating the low-grade inflammation in the whole system. You know, and that's why a lot of people have trouble. I'm gonna put this out there. A lot of people are doing a lot of efforts to heal, and they're changing their diet, and they're doing a lot of doings. You know, like they have a protocol with doing all the right things. I'm doing all the right things. Why am I not getting there? Like, why am I not seeing the change that I want to see? They're attached to the outcome of what this is going to look like. That's another thing. You know, we do things because we want something out of it. Like, I want to heal, and then we're looking for, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And when it's not happening the way we have designed it in our head, we lose faith and we lose direction. Instead of focusing on living to the best of our ability, so that the outcome becomes the best reality for us, because we can only ask to be our best. That's what I think.
You're here.
So, is there anything you want to tell the group from your heart of amazing knowledge and wisdom and many years?
I mean, the best thing you can do for healing is just to sit still and do nothing, and let your system harmonize itself on its own, because the divine intelligence is, believe me, my friend, infinitely smarter than you are. Mm-hmm. With all of our little stuff and all of our little supplements and diet trips and lifestyle habits, if you can sit still and get out of the way of that divine intelligence, it'll just clear everything away, and it will show you the way. Yeah. And then through divine revelation, you'll know exactly what supplements to take, what book to read, what video to watch, what person to follow, how long you should do yoga in the morning, whether you should go to the river or the ocean, and then you'll just be tapped in. So it's like, let thy will be done. You can get your antenna cleaned up through the practical aspects of detoxification. Exactly. When the pineal and pituitary are finally, communicating optimally through electronic, communication of light. And then this thing down here isn't filled with donuts and coffee and dead animals. Then you can start to have more electrical communication through the system. This thing, meditation, simple, plain, plant organic diet. And then this thing here is always just waiting for you to get out of the way, so it can just blossom and pull you through life. Love can just pull you right through life effortlessly, and everything, your hands just become basically, they just are operated, and then your brain is operated, and then this is all operated out of the heart. This is the center of the whole thing. And a lot of this gets shut down with the modern world. There's a lot of, that's a whole nother video in itself. We're operating
much from the brain. So what you're saying is, think less. More quiet, more listening.
Yeah, you will use this as a paintbrush.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Yeah.
Because, your imagination is what you'll create. Yeah. And whatever you think is what you'll become. Yeah. And so you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to what's going through your mind. And if there's something in there that's like, oh, it's too hard for me. I have all kinds of people I try to help, and I got to just drop them because they're just woe is me, woe is me. Yes, we get our asses kicked in this life and punched in the face and kicked to the dirt.
Yeah.
But are you going to just grovel? I mean, yes, we get depressed. We take antibiotics. We're drug addicts.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like, okay, wow, I am at rock bottom. I have nowhere else to go but up. Are you going to just stay down there? Or are you going to be like, okay, today I'm going to drink 6 ounces of water. Everything else I'll leave the same. I'll snort Coke. I'll do everything else the same. And I'm going to do one good thing today. And then tomorrow you can make it 8 ounces of water. And then I'm going to walk around the block. I haven't left the house in 3 weeks. I'm going to go for a walk tomorrow. And, you know, and then what you'll find is that as you cultivate one little tiny bit of positive every day, pretty soon your whole day is nothing but pure positive. You wake up at 5 to start meditating, and you have so many awesome things to do. You can't possibly fit them all in. So many people you want to serve, and so many fun places to go visit, and rivers to jump into, that your whole day is so filled with positive stuff that you don't even have time for one poo-poo negative at all.
It's like building a muscle. You're building a muscle. You know, it's like building a muscle. It's strength. You know, it's discipline.
Cultivating the positive.
Yeah. It's
the negative will never go away by attacking it.
No, never.
But if you have hate, a lot of us do, it's unconscious.
Yeah.
If you have hate, that's cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to dwell on that and practice that, or are you going to change that and start cultivating love?
Yeah.
And when you do that, believe me, if you cultivate love, one day you'll be like, wow, I love myself, I love my life, I love other people, I don't hate anyone.
Yeah.
But that can take a lot of time, but you have to keep flexing those muscles, watching that mind, looking at your heart, and then adjusting accordingly and keeping your mind on the divine ideals.
I think it was Mother Teresa that said it in the way that I often say it. She was asked to walk in a demonstration against war. And she said, no, I'm not going to go against war. Come back to me when you're going for peace.
Yeah.
I will walk for peace. I won't go against war.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing. So, and it was the same thing for me. It was, Hilda, how are you going to get rid of your dis-ease? I always said, I am not. I'm going to build health until health is the only thing left. And it's the same thing. You need to bring in your light, and that will get bigger through your actions, through your changing of your patterns of your thought, you know, through opening your heart, like Dan says. And I think it's so amazing to meet up with you, other people that are so connected, and we can see that we're many that are walking the same path, and you can always start from where you're at to do better. So how could they connect with you? Tell them your website and how they can connect with you in case you want, you know.
I have Life Regenerator YouTube channel. My website is regenerateyourlife.org, and I have tons of educational materials over there, all 100% raw, live food, vegan meal plans and weight loss programs and educational materials. 30-Day Living Foods Transformational Program is a really good one. And other than that, I've got a little Instagram, the Life Regenerator, and that's pretty much how I pretty much gave up on Zuckerberg over there because they changed everything and it just lost. So now I go steal his coconuts and to get even with them for cutting me out on Facebook. So I'm a YouTuber and Instagrammer, and I thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for...
Well, I thank you. And I'm Hilde Larsen. I'm on inspiredbyhilde.com. You'll find everything there. I have a YouTube channel, a podcast. I have the 3 books. I have my membership. I have my online course. I'm still on Facebook a lot. What I put out on Facebook is mostly longer writings. I'm also a writer, a blogger. I love to write. I love to put out content that will kind of make you think things over. That's why I spend a lot of time with my clients on the mindset. And this is very good, the different approaches into things. So that's me. So if you want to connect with either of us, that would be wonderful. And I'm wishing you an amazing rest of your life from Kauai.
Amen.
And thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Hilda.
Amen
Aloha.
to that. Aloha.
Peace.